Hi everyone. Today we'll create Gatsby site with Hasura and Yugabyte. Hasura is a GraphQL engine that auto-generates GraphQL API, and Yugabyte is distributed SQL that is Postgres compliant, and because it's Postgres compliant, we can use Hasura on top of it. So let's start by creating our Gatsby site. So I will create Gatsby by just using new Gatsby starter blog. That's like the basic template. Let's run that. We'll have the basic site. Okay, cool. So we have our basic site out there. So now let's run that by using Gatsby develop. Because we don't have Gatsby globally, we cannot use Gatsby develop here. Also, we need to go inside the Gatsby starter blog, right? So let's actually open our VS Code and maybe do everything from here. So let's go inside our package.json. So we have here the scripts, we have the develop, right? So let's run develop, and we'll have our Gatsby site loaded, just a basic blog post without anything. So we can go to this one, and it will basically open the GraphQL, like the graphical. We can access everything in our Gatsby blog site, and you see it's already configured with image sharp and directories and so on. And I won't dive much into Gatsby itself. There are lots of tutorials on that. And if we go to localhost 8000, then we have just a basic default starter thing. Yeah, like before diving into the whole Gatsby thing, let's also set up the database, because what we want to get to do basically is to get the data here from Hasura, right? So let's set up Hasura, let's set up Yugabyte, and we'll see how we integrate that into Gatsby. So first thing first, to set up Yugabyte, I can use Yugabyte bin command, like YugabyteCTL command. And for that, like I'm using local installation, so I download Yugabyte, install it here. I have YugabyteCTL command, and I can use, let's actually go inside the folder. Yugabyte 210 bin. So I want to run this command. So what it will do, it will create a cluster. Now Yugabyte has these master and slaves, right? And it has like replication factor of 3, which means if some of database, some of nodes are down, I still have like high availability for my data, and it can be distributed different clouds and across multiple, like different clouds, different availability zones, and it's pretty flexible what you can do with that. So let's create that, and we can see that it's giving an error, probably because I already have it. So let's see. And yeah, indeed I have it. So let me just, for the sake of example, I will destroy the current cluster that I have, and I will create a new one. So let's create a cluster. And now let's see status. We see the same. So the idea is I have like multiple servers, right? Multiple nodes. Now, if I go to localhost 7000, I will see the admin UI of Yugabyte. So currently I have 3 servers, and I have a replication factor of 3. So if I put one of the server down, then I will still have access to the data. So right now, what I want to do, and actually let me connect to SQL shell. Let's do something like this. Let me show you. Let's create a database here. So I will create a database called YugabyteDemo. And what I also want to have here is to connect to this demo. So I use this command, connected to YugabyteDemo. Now what I also want to do is to load a bunch of stuff. Now, when downloading the Yugabyte, I have like dummy data that I can pull into database, so I can do it like so. And yeah, I think it's because it's not in the bin. It's like one folder back. So I will load the schema and it will create a bunch of tables, actually 4 tables. And also I want to load users. I also want to load products. I will also load, what's that, orders, I believe. Orders will take a little bit of time to load. And products, users, orders, there was something else. Let's actually look what do we have there. Reviews. Yeah, maybe reviews. I think it was reviews, yeah. Okay, so let's connect to it again. And now let's connect to the Yugabyte demo. And now let's load share reviews. So here you go. Now what we can do is execute select on our tables, and we have a bunch of data. So just dummy data that we loaded inside database. So nothing special. This is like SQL shell, and I will add the video how to work with that in the description below. Okay, now let's run Hasura. To run Hasura, we can use Docker for that. And we want to run it on YugabyteDemo. And I will also set my Hasura engine to be the latest. So let's see. Okay, we have the latest engine here. Working good. Now, if we load Yugabyte here, we'll see products, users, reviews. So just load it, and we'll have a bunch of Hasura related stuff here. Now, if we load Hasura console, let's see what we have. Yeah, so we have the Hasura console. We need to migrate to this version. So let's actually stop our console here and maybe load the different version. I'll stop the Hasura engine on the console. So now it was v121, I believe. Let's see, v121, 121. Let's load that. See that we have it running. Let's reload, and we'll take time to load, and we will see the console. Let's see that everything looks good here. Yeah. load balanced, have a bunch of user tables, schemas. Yeah, all of these is like Hasura related stuff. And indeed, we have the console. Now, if we go to data, we have products, users, orders, and reviews, which is pretty cool because we just created them, but we don't have any GraphQL API here. So what we can do, we can go and track our products, track our users, orders, and reviews. Cool. So we have products. We have users. We want to track orders and reviews. Now, whenever you see the table here, if we get to graphical, I can already query my products and query users. So whenever I say track, is basically means there is auto-generated GraphQL API for them. So yeah, pretty cool. Now let's go back to the public. Go to review orders, and like track orders and track reviews as well. Cool. So we have them here as well. Now we want to track reviews. I will also probably need to set relationships between them. Cool. So let's see. So we have probably foreign keys defined as well. Let's see. We don't have anything defined, so we need to define them manually. So user ID, and we have users table, right? So let's go and modify the user ID. Let's see what we can do here with orders. So I can query bunch of orders and let's say total, and I want to get a user with name. That's what I essentially want to get. So if I go to orders and add a new foreign key saying that I want to reference users table, and my joining clause will be user ID to ID. I save that. So now we can get to relationships and add the user here. Now I can actually execute that and get all the users. So now we also have product ID. So in the same manner, I add a new foreign key for products table, and I will say that product ID maps to an ID and save that. So now if I go to relationships, I have a suggested relationships here. If I create that and go here inside, I'll probably be able also to get the title of the product for every order. So, and yeah, let's get price. Does it have price? I think the product has price. So now the question is how we take this, and I will skip through like all the keys creation because it's just manual process, right? Go say, okay, I did with this one, but for the products, we don't have foreign keys. For reviews, we have for the product ID. And yeah, let me actually do that really quick. So it maps the product ID, save that. Whenever it will save, we go to relationships, add the relationships, and the same we can. I think this is the last one. Now the reason why it takes time, a little bit more time, because we have lots of instances running, right? And yeah. Cool. So right now we have it and we can get also reviews. That was get orders query. And we also want to see the get reviews query. Let's create that get reviews. We want to get reviews for the product with some title, and let's say I want to see the rating, and yeah, that's it, just the rating. Let's run the get reviews, and yeah, I have different ratings here. So here you go, have the basic data modeling here, like from existing database, right, that we created through Yugabyte. And we have the auto-generated GraphQL API that Hasura creates for us. So our next step will be to take this and integrate this inside the Gatsby app.